Joseph Kosinski's F1 is a nail-biting racing drama that stars Brad Pitt, Kerry Condon, and Damson Idris. At the film's conclusion, there's a thrilling race and a surprise that viewers might or might not have anticipated. Pitt plays the role of Sonny Hayes, a once great but now washed-up race car driver, in the racing sports drama currently showing in theaters. The movie brings the world of Formula One racing to life with its abundance of real racers and major league figures. It features breathtaking racing sequences using real-life drivers Brad Pitt and Damon Idris. In a last-ditch attempt to keep himself from being forced to sell the APX Grand Prix racing team that he controls, Hayes is hired by Ruben Cervantes, his former Formula One racing partner, to manage his team that finished last. Sonny's unconventional and rude behavior causes friction between him and the team's promising rookie, Joshua Pierce, and catches the eye of the technical director. The APX team has climbed the standings with each of the last 9 Formula One races thanks to Sonny's aggressive and bizarre suggestions for the team's car and racing strategy. The APX crew regroups for another thrilling shot at winning the race in Abu Dhabi after encountering some sabotage and obstacles. For their final race, the APX crew get its race car back after an internal board member ruined their changes. They have reunited as a team because Sonny and Joshua had fully recovered by the time of the last race, albeit Sonny is still dealing with the after effects. The Grand Prix culminates in a high-speed duel between a handful of actual Formula One drivers and the 2 APX drivers, who have mastered the art of trackside cooperation. The 2 APX drivers, together with Formula One legend Lewis Hamilton, will engage in a sprint during the final 3 laps of the race. Sonny tries to assist his teammate win by making one more move. Sonny is able to win in the final lap after an unintentional collision causes Hamilton and Joshua to lose control. Sonny reminisces about the exhilaration of racing at that very moment, something he has been seeking ever since a devastating accident ended his Formula One career 30 years ago. Sonny leaves the commotion of the winner's circle as the APX team celebrates their improbable victory, gathers his belongings, loads up his old van, and sets out to find a new race. It comes as a bit of a shock, considering he recently achieved his lifelong goal of conquering the mountain he was unable to reach when he was a child. Given what F1 reveals about Sonny's past and what he tells Kerry Condon's Kate, it's hardly shocking that he decides to leave. Sonny isn't in it for the glory, the cash, or the acclaim. Because racing is something he truly enjoys doing, he has never stopped racing, even when he has switched teams and leagues. On the balcony after their first night together, he tells Kate that he desires the same sense of tranquility he had while driving a well-coordinated vehicle. That was on the final lap when he was racing in first place with the APX team and had no issues. After making up for his youth blunders and injuries in Formula One, he comes to the realization that he is not the sport or the club's future star and that he has nothing. He makes the decision to go because his involvement with the APX squad on F1 is now completely cut off. Despite his life-threatening injuries, he expresses his desire to die on a racetrack performing his beloved sport to Ruben. That's why he seeks out another event to compete in. He does so in Baja, California with the Baja Racers, who use cars similar to dune buggies. It would appear that Sonny has already decided to stop trying. Since the accident that nearly took his life all those years ago, he might feel as though he is on borrowed time. He is determined to make the most of his limited time by engaging in his passion, racing, in whatever form it takes. At the beginning of the film, Tobias Menzies' character, an APX board member, is an associate of Ruben Cervantes. Among the board members, he is the only one that appears concerned about the team's success during his tenure as coach. However, Banning expresses his desires to Sonny once the APX team begins to win. After Ruben resigns as owner, Banning plans to assume control of the team and appoint Sonny to head up the new organization. A new group of investors may join the team in this way, increasing the team's and Banning's financial standing. In an effort to hasten the demise of the team and Ruben, he fabricates blueprints for the modifications that Sonny and Kate make to the car to accommodate Sonny's new combat driving style. It is important to investigate the legality of the modifications even though the F1 authorities had already given their approval because of the extra papers that were kindly submitted with an anonymous tip. Until the authorities rule that they are legal again, the car will remain in the same shitbox condition it was in when Sonny initially joined the team. This implies that they cannot be utilized in races. The APX team wins the penultimate race when the permitted adjustments cause Banning's tactics to crumble, ensuring Ruben a minimum of 3 more years as team captain. While F1 doesn't exactly lay the groundwork for a sequel, fans can still delve into the world and meet the characters. Although Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt, departs for Barger at the film's conclusion, he may return to Ruben's squad in a capacity other than racing, particularly considering his vow to meet Kate down the road. Instead of starring Pitt, a sequel could do better to follow the journey of Joshua Pierce, Damon Idris, from brilliant rookie to true sports hero. At the same time that a new celebrity might join the cast as Joshua's new partner, Kerry Condon's Kate could become an even more integral component of the plot. F1 has strong box office projections, but it will be a while before we know if it will be profitable due to the film's large budget. That ought to be the deciding factor in the creation of a sequel. People want more, according to the early Rotten Tomatoes numbers for F1. A key element of Sonny's character is his superstition of keeping a playing card in his pocket before each race, a ritual that the film explains as a way for drivers to feel a sense of control in the face of life-threatening risks. Kaczynski explains that the playing card also symbolizes Sonny's connection to his father, who was a gambler, adding a layer of personal significance. The movie explores Sonny's backstory, including a serial crash that ended his F1 career and his struggles with gambling addiction, highlighting the emotional and psychological toll of the sport. Before every race, Sonny puts one playing card in his pocket, but he doesn't look at his face until the last race of Formula One, when he wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. However, since the spectator is unable to view the card, they are left to speculate as to its nature or significance. Because it is a prominent symbol on his jumpsuit, the only possible card that comes to mind is the 7 of spades. Whatever Sonny sees on his fortunate playing card, you should take heart in the fact that he is master of his own destiny, not the card itself. The movie features accidents inspired by real-life incidents, such as the near-fatal crash of Brad Pitt's character, Sonny Hayes, which is based on the accident of British driver Martin Donnelly. Donnelly's 1990 Spanish Grand Prix crash, where his car's suspension failed at 176 miles per hour, leading to severe injuries, is reflected in Sonny's flashbacks. Joshua Pierce's fiery crash in the movie draws inspiration from Roman Grosjean's 2020 Bahrain crash and Niki Lauda's 1976 crash, highlighting the risks of the sport. These accidents in F1, the movie, serve to realistically portray the high stakes and dangers associated with Formula One racing, reminding audiences of the sacrifices and risks involved. It's true that Formula One is mostly just a thrilling, meaningless event, but it's actually one of its strengths. Although the plot is obvious, it does touch on a few minor topics in the fascinating story. As with many sports films, the love of the game is central to Sonny's motivation throughout the film. No matter what happens to F1, the movie down the road, the post-credit scene that Kaczynski shot will remain a classic. Even if future installments don't touch on these characters or the present Formula One racing universe, this is a fantastic and appropriate send-off for Sonny Hayes. Now this man is figuratively riding off into the sunset after having the opportunity of a lifetime stolen from him when he was young. Even though his body has been fighting him, he has continued to chase the highs of racing ever since. Not only does it cap off F1, the movie, perfectly, but it also sets the tone for more